Hello guys, this is Henry John Griffin, and today I am going to be talking about something like the field in need to pretend denial of service attack, like breaking into a network of computers in pretend. Now, the reason why I put out the pretend phone metaphor or the pretend computer metaphor is I wanted to break apart the aspects of this metaphor and compare an imaginary phone from a pretend computer to a real computer. Now, a pretend phone and an imaginary computer is like a real computer because of so many capabilities it can do. Actually, you can pretend to go on the internet. You can pretend to program it. That's a lot of things you can pretend. But we're going to talk about browsing insecure websites as in pretend. Make-believe, not real. So, we are going to be right now explaining how we could use our imagination for bad instead of using it for good. Now, I know that it's against the law to download legal software. And however, legal software is really bad when it comes down to illegal downloads and anything like that. Downloads that are illegal. That's what legal downloads are. When you turn on a laptop or you turn on a computer, there's a login page that logs you into the desktop, and then you go to the settings and you go to connect your computer to the internet because you want to set up the Wi-Fi because your computer needs the internet in order to do things. So you go to the settings, you enter in the Wi-Fi password. But let's say the network you are connecting to is not password protected. This means anybody from outside can break into your public or home network and possibly steal your personal information. Alright, so before I talk about the hacking part, first we need to talk about what insecure websites can cause. Browsing insecure websites such as virus sites or websites that were infected by malware or websites that have been hijacked by browser hijacks. If you browse an insecure website on a real machine, you are gonna get a chance. Then you are gonna cause problems on your machine, and your machine will be severely infected with a virus. So that is why we don't go on insecure websites on a real computer. Here's where you can go on insecure websites. Now we're going to talk about the imaginary part. You can go on insecure websites on a pretend computer or an imaginary computer. If you imagine or if you envision yourself with a computer that has a web browser, pre-installed Google Chrome application, and Internet Explorer. So if you open up Firefox and you go on an unsecure website on Firefox, you're going to get loaded up with thousands of viruses on your computer. If you go on an insecure website on Google Chrome, same thing. Something bad happens. You could cause problems, or you could even damage your system or the network. This is how firewalls came to play. Firewalls come to play with many ways. Firewalls can protect you from all sorts of bad attacks on a network. Firewalls can protect your computer from your personal data being stolen and IP addresses being used without your consent, and firewalls also keep out bad things such as viruses, worms, and Trojans. Firewalls are made to protect your computer from dangerous problems such as hackers and identity theft. Firewalls are made when during an internet issue where when your internet is disconnected, firewalls are made to let you know when there's a problem with the internet and you're not able to connect to the internet or you have no internet access. That's another reason why we need a firewall. Firewalls are also designed to protect you from the viruses even if you are connected to Wi-Fi but you have no internet access. Firewalls are made for those things. Firewalls can also help you deal with internet problems. If you are having, actually troubleshooting helps with internet problems. It helps diagnose a problem that's going on with your internet service provider. You click the diagnose. And a firewall protects you from viruses. When you are dealing with an internet issue or your computer is not able to connect to the internet, let's say a hacker stops by at your house, stands by your house, and if the network is not encrypted, and if your firewall fails, then the hacker can easily connect to that network, that Wi-Fi but no internet access network, and you still may not be able to get on the internet because there's no internet access, but a hacker may hack into that Wi-Fi and try to plant a virus into the network, especially during an internet problem. If you see right there, there's something that comes up on the web browser that tells you the internet's disconnected, or you get something that says this page has been disconnected. And if that page is disconnected, it will tell you. It will say that if your network is protected by a firewall, then you should be permitted to access, then it says please be permitted to access the web. If your network is not protected by a firewall, then anybody can hack it. And that's why you got to be really careful on a real computer. You have to be really careful of what programs you download on a real computer. On a pretend computer, it's probably the same thing. You have to be very careful of what you imagine because it could have you doing it in real life. And computer viruses are bad. And so are mind viruses. Mind viruses are bad too. Because we don't want to be upset. We don't want to have anger, and we don't want to have anxiety. All of those emotions from the above are viruses of the mind. Those emotions refer to mind viruses such as anxiety and hate and jealousy and limiting beliefs and negative self-talk and all that depression. If you could diagnose anxiety, then you can also diagnose a computer problem by troubleshooting how your computer might be slow or sick.